Today, we're going to dive into an industry that is the absolute lifeblood for millions of people, but it's fundamentally stuck in the past. This is the story of the Philippine coconut and a really bold plan to reinvent its entire future, literally from the ground up. Okay, so to really get your head around the scale here, you have to start with this fact. The Philippines is a global coconut superpower. We're talking about palms covering a quarter of the country's farmable land, cranking out something like 15 billion nuts every single year. But behind that massive number, there's a really troubling reality. Take a good look at this number, 90%. It's a stark, simple figure that just blows the lid off the central crisis of this entire industry. Yep. Despite being the backbone of a global powerhouse, 90% of the country's 2.5 million coconut farmers live in poverty. I mean, how is that even possible? It points to a system that isn't just inefficient, it's fundamentally broken. So let's break down this broken system, right? For decades, the whole industry has pretty much bet the farm on a single low-value product called copra. That's just dried coconut meat. And it's left the farmers with barely enough income to get by. So how do you fix something that's broken? Well, you don't just tweak it. You have to reinvent it. And that is exactly where a company called Green Agro Integrated Industry Corporation, or GAIC, steps into the picture. At the core of their whole strategy is what they call the whole nut philosophy. And it's a simple idea, but it's absolutely revolutionary: zero waste. Instead of just making that one low-value product, every single part of the coconut gets converted into something valuable. It's a complete flip of the script. And here's that philosophy in action. Just look at this. One single coconut is transformed into this whole portfolio of products. You get the premium food stuff like virgin coconut oil and cocoa flour, but you also get industrial goods like biodiesel, cocoa fiber, and peat. Even the shell becomes charcoal. All of a sudden, one nut creates 7, maybe even more income streams. And what's so brilliant is how this works as a business model. See, while every single part of the nut gets used, the real financial engine is driven by those high-value food products. You can see it right here. Virgin coconut oil is projected to be almost 2/3 of the revenue. All those other things, the so-called byproducts, they just become a super profitable bonus. So does it work financially? Well, the projections are just stunning. A 5-year cumulative return on investment somewhere between 180 and 250%. This isn't just some social project, It's a highly profitable enterprise. But the innovation didn't even stop there. You see, GAIIC saw an even bigger opportunity beyond just food, and that led to this strategic pivot that dramatically scaled up their ambitions. Now remember, the whole nut model already squeezes a little bit of biodiesel from the coconut kernel's skin. It's a perfect example of zero waste, which is great. But in the grand scheme of things, the volume is tiny. And this led them to ask a total game-changing question. Instead of just treating fuel as this small, nice-to-have bonus, what if they could build a dedicated, high-volume energy source right into the ecosystem itself? And the answer was a plant called jatropha. Now here's the brilliant part. Jatropha is grown specifically for energy. It's not a food crop. This is absolutely key. It doesn't compete for resources. So the coconut keeps on providing those high-value food products, while jatropha becomes the primary feedstock for a massively expanded biodiesel operation. And this is the results of that pivot. I mean, the scale is just staggering. Over 5 years, the jatropha integration is projected to produce over 56 million liters of biodiesel. The original coconut source, just under 300,000. This one move transforms biodiesel from a tiny footnote into a colossal revenue stream. A great idea is one thing, right? But to really scale it, you need an industrial backbone. You just can't build a new ecosystem with old, rusty tools. And this part is such a genius piece of vertical integration. To roll out dozens of these advanced processing plants, somebody first has to build the high-tech machinery. So they created a sister company to do just that, Quantum Machineries and Construction, or QMC. QMC's mission is crystal clear: become the go-to local manufacturer for this whole revolution. Their plan is structured, it's ambitious. First, they acquire an older firm to get a running start. Then, they pour a ton of investment into advanced manufacturing systems. And finally, they scale up to meet the coming demand. And let's be clear, we're not talking about 1980s technology here. QMC's roadmap is all about the future.
They're explicitly integrating Industry 4.0 systems, IoT analytics, and, down the line, even robotic automation. They are literally building the 21st century hardware that this agricultural revolution needs. So, when you connect all these pieces, you've got the farmer, the whole nut model, the big energy pivot, and the industrial engine to build it all, you start to see the outline of a potential national transformation.
I mean, this slide really says it all. The old way meant poverty-level income. The new ecosystem is projecting a 40 to 60% increase for farmers. It's a shift from one cheap product to a diverse, high-value portfolio, from manual labor to Industry 4.0. This new model directly solves every single core problem that we started with.
And at its heart, this is a mission-driven enterprise. QMC's own mission statement isn't just about profits, it's about empowerment, using locally engineered technology to really uplift farmers and create prosperity for everyone.
And so that's the big question we're left with. It's a plan that's incredibly ambitious, it's integrated, it's super detailed, and it tackles poverty, industrial inefficiency, and even energy independence all at once. All the pieces seem to be in place. The only question that remains is whether this new corporate ecosystem can truly rewrite the future for millions of people.